Playing off the same line of questioning, I'm curious, is Vivek also in that
He's a
same vein?
douchebag. I did a whole thing called Vivek the Snake. He's a complete douchebag. Anyone who has any sense of integrity looks at how he talks and the way he wheedles around it. There's a very good writer at Forbes who did a great thing, how he has learned how to just take something, manipulate it, and then move into some other manipulation. He hops from one manipulation to another. And I just look at him, and I've hired thousands of people in my lifetime. I would never hire this guy ever. He's a fucking bull. Complete snake. Now, the fact that the only reason he's even being considered is because of the fact that overnight, Tucker Carlson of mainstream media gives him attention. Look, if you want to get a book into the bookstores, you need a major agent and you need to be connected. Everyone listening needs to understand that all of these people are highly connected. They all go to the same equestrian clubs with their kids. They all go to the same tennis clubs. They all go to the same restaurants. They're 1 degree of freedom away from each other. And I really think people don't understand. Now, I know that because I used to live in Hollywood in Malibu, okay? I know all these people. I grew up in the circumstance of MIT, okay? And I walked away from all that because I hate these scumbags. Their existence comes from their network. Jared Kushner and Vivek and Trump and Elon Musk, all these people know the same people. And I really think you need to understand this. And they will not allow you into their circles. It is very high level of hurdle of income, of connections you need to have before they'll allow you into their circles.
So why has Vivek been allowed in? Because it does seem to a large extent that he has.
Because he is them. We now have a multiracial global swarm neo-caste system. Look, he's called the Brahmin caste, okay? I came from below. His parents would spit on people like me in India. Literally. They would call me the equivalent of the N-word, okay? And people need to understand we live in a caste system now. Just look at this douchebag. Can you tell me what he's created? Can you tell me one thing he's done?
I've had Vivek on the show. I will grant you that he is one of the most gifted salesmen I've encountered.
Anyone who I can see through him like a douchebag.
A lot of people feel that way. And I even ended my interview with him saying it's very challenging to suss out what his true beliefs are because he's so gifted at like angling it to the audience.
No, you guys don't know how to ask him real fucking questions. You need to ask him the following. You need to.
My buddy Anomaly certainly did.
Yeah, but Anomaly learned all that stuff from us, okay? Right. But Anomaly pussied out on certain things, okay? Here's the bottom line with Vivek. How did he make money? Go look at how someone makes money and you will understand the character of that person.
Sure.
How did he make money?
According to his story, I don't know. I haven't dug deep to know for sure, but he has 5 or 6 FDA-approved drugs under his. That's what he says.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Let's talk about how the motherfucker bullshitted everyone. He goes from Harvard. By the way, he told people he came from nothing. No, I came from nothing. That guy came from 2 Brahmin parents. Do you know what Brahminism is, Clint?
I know it's a kind of a class system.
A caste system. It's worse than a class system. It is beyond racism, okay? That's where he comes from. People says, oh, he grew up with nothing. No, he went to a fucking prep school costing tens of thousands of dollars, number one. Then he goes to Harvard, okay? When he graduates Harvard, he goes to hang out with these hedge fund guys. If hedge fund guys are and you come out of Harvard, you're basically joining a club of people who actually don't do much except move capital around. And the reason they get to make money is they all do insider trading, right? That is very different than where I grew up in New Jersey. Someone who's a landscaper, a plumber, who gets up and works for a living. They actually produce something of value. These guys are insiders.
Right. Are you denying that he has 6 FDA-approved drugs?
I'm going to say go check it out.
Okay. Well,
go check it out. FDA doesn't approve drugs. If you ever say you have FDA-approved drugs, the FDA will slap you upside the head. The FDA gives allowance for a drug to go to clinical trials. They do allowances. So it's very important to understand this. Now, let's look at the level of bullshit of this guy. And everyone listening should probably mark the time code on this until the end. You can go verify all of it. Number one, there's a company called, he creates a company called Axovant. Okay, what did Axovant do, Clint? He went and got $5 million from his fraternity of other fools who don't do much. And then he takes that $5 million and he goes to a company called GlaxoSmithKline. Remember, this guy hasn't done it. He hasn't been in the lab. He hasn't done the research. It's a scam. So what he does is he takes that $5 million, goes to GlaxoSmithKline. How does he get to GlaxoSmithKline?
That part I don't know.
Exactly. You have to be part of the clique. We do cold calls to companies. We don't know people. We have to actually do the work. But you pick up a phone because you were in that circle. So right there, you go try to get into GlaxoSmithKline's president. No one on this call can do that. No one on this call can get through to Albert Bourla at Pfizer. So how do you get into those circles? That means you're already part of them. You've been vetted and you're allowed into those circles. All right.
Is that his Harvard lineage or is it beyond that?
It's the lineage of people who hang around with scumbags because they've never worked a day in their life. Their entire life has been to learn how to hang around with those circle of people, Clint. They go to the right prep school. It starts at the age of 12 to 15 to 17. Their mama and papa send them to the right prep schools. And after the prep schools, they get all the consulting to apply to Harvard. They get people to write their essays. It's a whole club and you're not part of it. Sure. I actually got 800s on my SATs. My parents can afford consultants. I actually filled out my own application. These people have consultants, $30,000 consultants. So there's a very interesting Harvard adjunct professor said, dumb people are getting into Ivy League institutions and smart people can't even get an education anymore. So So dumb motherfuckers are going to these institutions, and it's changed a lot in the 20 years, really. So how did he get into Harvard? Someone should go do research on that. Actually do the research.
He was valedictorian of his high schools. He's no dummy.
Go ask how many kids were in the high school, and go ask how did he get his grades? Did he actually get them, or did he ass-lick his way to doing them? Because people give trophies to everyone these days. Actually have to do the research. The point is, it's a club, okay? So you go to Harvard, you create your friendships, then you make a few phone calls, and you can get through to GlaxoSmithKline. So $5 million he raises. You go try to raise $5 million today, Clint. See how much effort it is. You have to write this and that, and you have to, anyone here on the call, go try to raise $5 million.
Yeah, I was a money manager, so it would be different. I could probably get it done, but it is extraordinarily challenging. And
for an entrepreneurial company with no assets, nothing, you have to do it on the strength of relationships.
Yeah, it's pure networking.
That's it. So this cannot be underestimated, that you make one phone call. Oh yeah, man, I remember you. Yeah, no big deal. You're good for it. And the $5 million he gets is maybe 5 guys put in $1 million, and we should go do research on that. And that $1 million is part of a $1 billion portfolio, which is nothing for them. Sure. Anyway, you go raise $5 million, and Alzheimer's drugs, 99% of them fail all this. And if you just say, oh, I think I have something for Alzheimer's, everyone is going to invest in it. It's the biggest scam you can do. Okay. So he goes to GlaxoSmithKline. Do you know the story, Clint?
I do. Yeah. He acquires a drug that had failed multiple times. For whatever reason, he believes there's viability that has been missed. He decides to acquire it for that $5 million acquisition price, and then the drug fails.
No, go back. You missed a big step there. Look, I've gone through clinical trials. Okay. Phase 2 clinical trials that failed once on Alzheimer's and dementia. Then they tried everything. It failed 4 times. It's failed. And wow, I can scam people. So you go buy that drug and you change the name. And what do? You go get your mother. Did you know this?
Yeah, I learned it after my interview with him because of Anomaly's research.
Well, no, Anomaly took it from us. Okay.
Okay. Then from your research.
Yeah. So he took the drug. Okay. His mother does the analysis of one of those 4 clinical trials. What is the analysis? They're not even running a clinical trial. They're doing the analysis of the failed drug data. And what they do is they throw out the data, which included people who didn't complete that clinical trial, called the completer analysis. Okay. So you threw out data, and then you analyze that data. And now, in order to get credibility in science, the highest form of credibility is you publish in a peer-reviewed journal. The other is you give a platform presentation. The lowest form is you do a poster session, which is what undergraduates do. There's like a big conference, kids have a little poster, some nice drawings. They say, I did this experiment and have these results. That completer analysis data, which is highly suspect, was presented as a poster session. Okay. Now, to me, it's laughable as a scientist who actually is published in the leading journals. Yeah, that's good for undergraduate students. We're just getting their feet wet. Okay. Publishes it, and then they take that data and then they use that analysis to tout the drug and to beef up an IPO, knowing it's a useless drug, knowing this. And then they do the clinical trial, think about it, a year later, after they'd hyped it, and the stock crashes because it fails. You knew it was going to fail. And it fails by, we just got a patent. In fact, I'll show it to you. This came in the mail. This is an actual patent for real combination therapy. And we spent 10 years doing this. Actually did the fucking research, man, for combination therapy that really resolves osteoarthritis. Okay. Now that took actual me working. We didn't scam everyone. I didn't take $1 of investor revenue. Think about that. That's called real innovation. What he did is not innovation. It's called financial bullshitting, engineering. And you really need to understand.
Basically, a biomedical pump and dump is essentially what you're.
Yeah, it's called bullshitting. You compare that quality of a human being to a Benjamin Franklin, right? Thomas Jefferson, someone like me who actually gets in the lab, actually does things, actually makes real stuff. This is a fucking scam artist. It's a fucking snake. Let me give you another example. Now, for me, it's fascinating. As a brown-skinned Indian guy, about 500 million people came to know about us during 2020, and they knew we were going to run independent. They had to go find a brown-skinned Brahmin, big pharma brown noser. This is, in my view, and all the people in my circles, they see this as a fucking psyop plan. They had to go get someone else to, and there are people who think I'm him. They all look alike, right? But the point is,
you think they're replacing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You with him?
Yep. And many people have said this. And he literally has stolen rhetoric from us. First of all, this guy's not anti-establishment. He is the establishment through and through. Where was he at the lockdowns? We were running massive protests against the lockdowns. He was promoting lockdowns. Yep. When the lockdowns were taking place, we created the mass and oral health protocol, and we taught 3,000 people how to challenge the mask mandates at the school level. I did the science, help people write lawsuits, etc. He was promoting masks. So this guy is part of the establishment. I've been on the ground handing out thousands of flyers. This guy is not an activist. He's a scumbag. Let's take another example. He graduates from Harvard, works in a hedge fund, has made about $1 million, files for a Soros fellowship, an affirmative action fellowship, which is really meant for poor people who come from the inner cities bottoms up. This guy didn't come from poor people. He came from Brahmin parents who were top down. And now he says he's against affirmative action. This is like criminal in my view, because affirmative action was created for friends of mine who went to MIT, who came from the inner cities. So the affirmative action was a reform that came out of the civil rights movement because there was a distance between the minority and the equivalent rich white candidate, right? Now, it wasn't the right solution, right?
Right.
but it was a reform.
And he took advantage of it.
Yeah, when I came to MIT in 1968, let me give you an example. Shirley Jackson, who's a professor, who was a graduate student at MIT, was the only 2 Black students at MIT in 1968. Wow. And she threw down her thesis in front of all these old white professors, and she said, it's a disgrace. I'm only one of 2 Black students graduating MIT. She's getting her PhD. She's now the president of Rensselaer. The next year, they let in some students. Those students came all from the inner cities, and they said, we're never going to be successful. You'll let us in so we could fail. And those students took over the MIT faculty club, and they demanded MIT set up programs so they could actually compete with the students who came from the wealthy schools. This is what affirmative action was designed for, not for a scumbag Brahmin fucking brown noser and for him to take advantage of it. And then later on, say he doesn't support affirmative action when he got an affirmative action scholarship.
Yeah, I think he has been caught up on telling that tale in different ways a couple of times.
He should be slapped upside the head, man. If he came to Newark, New Jersey, we'd treat him very fucking differently, and he would learn to shut the fuck up very fast. This guy's a douchebag.
I'm sorry to laugh.
The reason I'm saying this is because I fucking worked hard all my life. You know?
Yeah, no, I get it.
And every working class person I have, this guy is claiming he's a fucking American. No, he's not an American. If anything, he hates this country. He hates the American people because he thinks he's so much smarter and can bullshit people. That's a hatred of people, man.
If I can actually prove that they knew that the Parkinson's drug had no additional utility, because I just can't know. I can't know that they knew that.
Clint, you're a money manager. I'm not going to argue with you on money management. Okay?
Sure.
If I'm Michael Jordan, it would be like a high school student telling Michael Jordan how to shoot a basketball. It's not even believing me. The process that they're doing was a complete scam. Third example, he claims he's for excellency, meritocracy. You had nepotism in your own fucking company, your mama and your brother, and they're the ones who did the analysis that you used. Yeah, but what I find amazing is when every word that comes out of a mouth, I see a fucking scam artist. And the reason anyone is following him because they're fucking desperate for real change. And so anyone who mouths words, they don't bother looking at what they actually did. You go back to COVID. This guy was promoting vax mandates, promoting mask mandates, and had also started a company to track all of us. So you add all of this up, and what picture emerges is scumbag. There's nothing else. People should use the most vehement words to expose these people because they hate America. They hate the American people. They really fucking do. I didn't see him in 2020 when we exposed the backdoor portal to Twitter. Where was this fucking guy? Right. Where were all of these people? So now you come out because you're part of that swarm. Overnight, you can make a call to somebody at the New York Times who writes articles about you once a week. That doesn't happen mysteriously. So I think people need to understand how tightly wound these people are and the level of things they can get done overnight versus us who have to build stuff step by step. Okay. They don't have to do that. They cheat. They're actually fucking cheaters. Everything they have earned is not by hard work, but by cheating. And I want to end this with their cabal actually think, wow, he's a scam artist. He's good. That's good. Oh, you scammed 5 million. You made that money. Wow, you're smart. They value people who scam. And they think the rest of us who actually work hard are fucking dummies. And that's what I mean. They hate us.
I see. Yeah.
They
I can see that.
Disdain for people who actually wake up in the morning, actually follow the rules. They actually think we're dumb, Clint.
No, I agree. The ruling class think that we are idiots and that we ought to be ruled with an iron fist because they are superior to us. And that's why the whole World Economic Forum climate change agenda talks down to people so much, but it also propagandizes the youth to think that they're participating in a way that is somehow uplifting.
And remember, his fighting against the WEF, suddenly, it's all bullshit. It's like trying to make him look anti-establishment. You have to really look, have these people been fighting? Do they have a history of fighting injustice? Or have they profited from injustice their whole lives? This guy has.
That is a very important question. Have you challenged him to a debate, and would you be willing?
I'll challenge him to fucking get in a ring with me. He needs to have that. He needs to be taught a lesson.
There is some personal animus here.
Debate. The issue is, it's really fucked up. These people are fucked up, man. They're evil. They're evil.
Oh, I agree.
The other thing is, people are a little more adventurous. They can go to the website, Shiva4president.com, and they download this very powerful weapon. It's a flyer. And this flyer, Clint, gives people the ability to print it on their home printer, go use your library's printer, you're paying your property taxes, and hand it out to your neighbors. Keep it in your glove compartment. We're going to get about 50 million of these out by the end of 2024, right? This is saying, I'm going to go offline. I'm not going to rely on fucking Elon Musk to fucking help me because he's already part of the swarm. I'm not going to rely on fucker Carlson for being entertained by fucking Alex Jones or something. These guys are entertainers. They don't want to build a movement, all right? And then if people want to donate money, we say, great, but if you donate money, when you donate money to us, I give you back stuff. I give you tools. I give you knowledge. We give you education because we want you to ultimately be the hero. So if you go to the Twitter feed, we're handing out flyers. They're our heroes, okay? So I'm a catalyst in this. So my running for president is quite disruptive. This guy called Reince Priebus, who was chief of staff for Trump, apparently a guy that I know, he has him on his board of his company, said, hey, Dr.SHIVA is running president. He goes, that's going to be majorly disruptive. So if you see now what they're doing, I will say, look, the tip of the spear of this movement is our running for office. And it's about you. Kennedy literally copied that and puts that in a video. Russell Brand is now talking about life expectancy. This guy's a total douchebag. Which came came first, his becoming anti-establishment or his allegedly raping these women? I would presume the latter, okay? And you have to wonder, did he know this shit was going to happen to him? Like whistleblowers in some companies, they're real sincere whistleblowers. A guy knows he's going to be fired, so he suddenly starts whistleblowing on shit. I put him in that category, okay? All of these people who are of the elites claiming they're anti-establishment, it's become like the in vogue thing to do now. Where were they in 2020? Russell Brand was promoting lockdowns in 2020.
Oh, interesting.
Booby Kennedy was promoting lockdowns in 2020. Look at that. They're all up there. We collected 120,000 signatures, drove our bus down, and we handed those 120,000 signatures to Trump. I wrote the letter saying fire Fauci. Rand Paul waited a year to use fire Fauci, and it was for donation emails. You guys are all scumbags. You speak the truth at the right time, not 2 years later acting all upset like Tucker Carlson when you had all the documents we gave you about the backdoor portal. He's part of the intelligence network. We have to understand we're being sold out, and the only person that deserves to be president is me. Right now is running because I've done the work, and I have a history without any type of exaggeration. You put my CV of fighting for people next to any of these guys, it won't match. It's unmatchable. What you will find is a history of bull people.
On that, we agree. Dr. Shiva, thank you so much for your time. It was both
Clint.
interesting and entertaining. Great to meet you. And one more time for people that want to get involved, go tell them the URL, please.
So number one, go to shiva4president.com. Our campaign is about involvement. It allows you to get a bumper sticker, put it on the back of your car. Go to shiva4president.com. Go to the download section. We've open sourced this. You can print this on a black and white printer, get it out. Or go to truthfreedomhealth.com where you get the knowledge and the education. And that's where you can become your own leader. You become your own guru. You become the teacher, but you will get the knowledge that I used to teach at MIT for many years. You'll get the knowledge that the elites have about how systems work. But that knowledge is what everyone needs to get, Clint. We have a woman who's a hairdresser who teaches it to a PhD. Anyone can learn it. We have people all over the world, man. And all of our stuff is being translated. We have about 120 countries now. There's someone in Antarctica who took the course. Samoa. I don't know who, but
people live in Antarctica? What the
they're scientists who live down there.
Anyways, man, I got to run, but everybody, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. I'm sure there will be lots of comments on this one. And thank you again, Dr. Shiva. It was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Be well, be the light. Best to you and your family, Clint, and your community. Be well. All right, Clint. Cool. Yep. Be well. Thanks. Yep. All right, everyone. That was Clint Russell. It was good doing that meeting with him. I hope this is valuable. Anyway, everyone, go get your bumper stickers, right? Go to shiva4president.com, get the flyers, get on the ground, and let's win this fight. But you have to get educated. Go to truthfreedomhealth.com, get educated or be enslaved. It's really up to you. And I leave you with that. Thank you. Be well.